Hey, I hope you guys are doing well. In this video, we are going to be looking at genetic technologies. Now, before we dive into the chart, I do want to give a little bit of background, then we'll move into why we saw genetic technologies, ticker symbol GENE, why we saw it move over 150% today. So, taking a step back, Genetic Technologies is currently working on a polygenic risk score test. So with this test, it's basically been sent out, or they have 3,000 current patients that have used the test to look at their polygenes to see how bad of a disease they could or how severe of a disease they could develop if they were to contract COVID-19. So with this test, the idea is that they are able to send it out to countries, send it out to companies, and they are able to test their whether it's employees or citizens of that country. They're able to test them and get an understanding of where the high-risk individuals would be if they were to contract COVID-19. So taking a step forward as we move into the later half of this year and into next year, the bigger picture is that once we have the vaccine, governments are able to then allocate those resources to those areas of higher risk first to better circumvent the death toll from rising. So I think that's the big idea behind the genetic technologies, their patent that they have put out for this risk assessment test. And I think that there are some problems with the company and this massive move so far. So they have worked with manufacturers to mass produce this product, and that is what led to the big surge today. That information came out that they're working with manufacturers and are able to produce up to 250,000 of these tests annually. Now, last I checked, there were 8 billion people on this planet, so obviously 250,000 is not going to cut it in the meantime or at current time. So what they're looking to do is, as this is going through the regulatory process, they're looking to add more manufacturers so that they can up or scale up the production of these tests so that more people, more companies can use them and get a better idea of who is really at the serious risk if they were to get COVID-19. So that's really the background on this company. Now, all that information on them manufacturing and being able to deploy out these tests came out today, and it led to this humongous surge as we move closer to also having a vaccine. So now let's go ahead and move into the chart and see how is it that we can make a little bit of money on this company, GENE Genetic Technology. So if we look at the chart here, you can see this is the 4-hour or 6-month chart. So each candlestick represents 4 hours worth of trading. And you can see we had a pretty big pop up here in January. This was pushing us all the way up here towards the mid fives, right around 550. And then we pulled back down. Probably a little bit better level to look at will be down here around 450. From there, we sold all the way off, moving below those lows around $2, all the way down to $1.40. From there, it was basically, on the grand scheme of things, flat. It did see a nice upward trend and pushed all the way up here to $3, so about a 100% gainer from these lows in March. And then from there, it really did stay flat. And notice that there is no volume. There is no volume whatsoever. It all pales in comparison to what we saw today. You can see here. So really what we are wanting to look at is today's trading, right? Is it going to hold up from the massive move that we saw all the way down here from about $2 a share, and over the past couple of days we've seen it accelerate all the way up here towards $10 a share. So if we move in here towards the 5-day, I need to move into the 1-day, 1-minute chart. We can see how we traded today. So pre-market, we saw a large surge. We pushed from about $2.25 all the way up here towards $3.16. That marked our pre-market high, so we want to mark that as being a resistance as we pulled back from it. Now, if we zoom this in a little bit closer, you get a better view of that. So then we pushed back down and we found a support right around $2.68. So that was our opening support, and obviously we never came and tested those levels again. But I do want to throw it in there as it could be a level to look at as we move forward if this continues to the downside. So once we broke through 316, it was really just this big upward surge. We pushed all the way up here towards $7 a share. This was by 11 a.m. So we had taken this thing from $2.25 all the way up here, up 200% to $7 a share, and from there we saw a move to the downside, right? So I want to put in a resistance, and we'll get back to it later. So then we traded all the way down and moved right around where? That $5.50 price point, which was that top back in January. So not really sure if that held a lot of weight or if that was just the level that we came down to. But from there we surged on. We bounced once right in here at $7.50 after surging through 7, and then topped out right in here around $10 a share. From there, it was a steep sell-off. We went from all the way up, double topping really up here at about $9.75 to $10 a share, and then selling all the way down and closing out right in here around $5.50. So obviously, $5.50 is a key level. If we were to continue the downside, we do have these small brief periods of consolidation as this thing was sprinting to the top. So you could look at roughly $4.75 if you wanted to. And then you could look down here. Really my next level would be in the lower 4s. And then from there, if this really does start to spiral out of control, I would be looking down into the mid to lower 3s, which is where we really began this push after we broke through those pre-market highs around $3.20. Now, if we move to the high side, right, so let's say that genetic is starting to gain a little bit more traction. Obviously, there was a lot of hype off of this news today, and it led to a humongous pump all the way up to $10 a share. Now, let's say that the valuation for this company now continues to rise as they produce more of these tests. More companies, more governments are wanting to buy them to better understand where they need to send their resources for their vaccines when it does finally come out. If we want to start looking at some levels to the upside with just this 1 day's worth of trading, mind you, obviously this $7 price point is going to be a big resistance. Now, mind you, that is also a solid 25% away from where we are currently trading, so that is no sneeze right there to get up to $7 a share. But that is going to be our first big resistance. If we push through that and we start to see some momentum going right, you could consider this level right in here around $7.50 as being a resistance. You can see it acted as a support that we catapulted off of as we moved towards 10, and then as we came back down, it also acted as a little bit of a support here, but then it acted as a resistance and we sold back down. So I think $7.50 is important, and then up here around $8.50 is also going to be important. Now, that's not to say that we push through 7, we're immediately going to $7.50, and if we push through $7.50, well, we're going to $8.50. No, that's not really what I'm saying. I'm just saying those are some levels to look at. We could, do something along the lines of this where we poke through $7.50, move up towards $7.60, and then we fail and move back down. We really want to look at the volume. Are we going to have more volume tomorrow than we had today? Probably not. We may pull back for another day or two and really get this into a more manageable price level and get a little bit more news and maybe a little bit more guidance on where this company is going to go as we move ahead. But if this train does keep chugging, let's look around 750, and then 850. And really, once we get up there, it's going to be a pretty big wall from these bag holders that could be stuck up here right around $9 a share. So as this thing moves up, be aware of that. Be aware of these price levels, or if this thing moves up, be aware of those price levels. And if it moves down, have a plan in place to minimize your risk so that you do not get stuck holding a fat loss. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, leave a subscribe. That would be fantastic. Or leave a comment on something that you think I may have missed, because I'm sure I did. Or leave a comment on another stock that you would like for me to look at. So with that, guys, I will catch you in the next one.